the sun came out today. I thought I woke up on the wrong planet. We're going to invite you to stand up and sing along. This song is positive affirmations to make you feel good. Just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. Just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am living a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Savannah is a center for spiritual awakening. We invite everybody. We are open to all, and we are so happy once again that you came to celebrate Spirit with us this morning. We invite you to take a minute to say hello to your neighbors. Make sure if you see somebody new, make them feel at home, because they are at home. what lies before me is available to me. It's available to me through the mind of God within me. Hey, John. Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me through the mind of God within me. Oh yeah. Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me through the mind of God within me. Let's all clap together. We clap together. Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me through the mind of God within me. Y'all keep clapping just like that. Stay clap with a snare drum. Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me. Is available to me through the mind of God within me.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Savannah. I am Reverend Dale Worley. Unity of Savannah is a center for spiritual awakening. Wake up. Where we recognize God as life, love, and the ground of all being, and we celebrate God by what? Living fully, loving lavishly, and being all that we can be. Touch somebody and say, you are loved lavishly. Ooh. Yeah, let's join together in affirming our vision statement together, centered in God's love. We inspire universal transformation, one heart at a time. And our mission: we are an inclusive spiritual community serving others with love, joy, and truth. We are inclusive. Tell somebody, you're included. You're included. We want you to be here. You're welcome here. Yeah. If you're serving as a prayer chaplain, would you please stand? Our prayer chaplains, thank you, are here to hold sacred space with us, to listen lovingly to our prayer intentions, to pray affirmatively and from the heart, and to hold in confidence what is shared. So if you would like a prayer, an individual prayer after the service, they'll be here in the sanctuary to serve you. And thank you again for your service. I also want to remind you that we have a prayer box in the back corner of the room. At any time during the service that you want to move back there and place a prayer intention in our prayer box, you're very welcome. Our prayer team will pray with you for 30 days, and then we send your prayer intentions to Unity Village, where they pray with you for 30 days as well. So any prayers in our prayer box are doubly blessed. Do we have a new baby? Yeah. Hi, welcome to the world. That's awesome. Congratulations. We're glad you're here this morning. What's her name? Sonia. Hi, Sonia. So today we're continuing our adventure in truth. If you remember, we began our adventures on the first weekend in November with our revival and homecoming. We're about a third of the way through. We're going on to December 31st. And if you've never been to our Burning Bowl and White Stone ceremony, that's on the last Sunday of December. And it's one of my favorite things that we do in Unity. We set an intention for the year, and we release anything that we don't want to carry into the new year. So we're going to have one service that day for 90 minutes at 10:30, and everybody is welcome to come. So that'll be the ending of our adventures in truth. Say it with me. Adventures in truth. Ooh, yeah. So this morning we're focusing on the adventure of surrender. The adventure of surrender. Let's move into prayer before we begin. I invite you, you might want to place your hand on your heart if you're able. Let your eyes close and take a couple of deep, full breaths. And just feel the presence of the Holy Spirit in this room. We invite God's presence into our awareness. In truth, God is omnipresence, everywhere, all at once, all the time. And as we move into prayer, we open ourselves to realize that truth. Feel the presence and the power of Spirit. Spirit within you. Spirit all around you, all the time. And we see that blessed, loving presence making itself known in the lives of all those that we wish to bless this morning. If there's somebody on your heart that you would like to enfold in prayer this morning, I invite you now to say their name aloud or whisper it in your heart. See them in your mind. Surrounded by God's love. Anyone that you wish to bless, to raise up in prayer. We send our love. If there's a situation in the world that you would like to bless, see God moving harmoniously in the midst. there's a place in the world, it could be your house, it could be somewhere around the world, anywhere that you would like to bless and to see this Spirit infusing that environment, that place, just bring it to mind now. Know that we're using the power of our imagination and our faith to see God's good, to call it forth, and to hold in prayer all those we desire to bless. We see the whole world waking up to the truth of their being. We pray all this in the consciousness demonstrated by Jesus Christ and all those saints and sages of all the ages that have come to show us the way to truth. We pray under the authority of the great I Am, and because we allow this to be so, and so it is. Amen. So we light our Christ candle this morning to represent the idea of surrender.
In surrender, I open myself to spiritual understanding. On the battlefield, surrender is seen as defeat and an option of last resort. Surrender can also be interpreted as having given up something reluctantly from a sense of separation. I reject those illusions and affirm that I am one with all humanity as I awaken to my spiritual nature. I discover that surrender demonstrates great strength. I surrender this day. I surrender this day. I let go of the need to be right. And I see good and harmony unfolding in the face of discord. I surrender my attachments to any specific outcomes, and I affirm that my best and highest future is unfolding. In surrender, I am strengthened and blessed. I release the struggle, and my stress begins to ebb. I am the flow of life, and I am grateful. Matthew 11:28 tells us, "Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." I will give you rest. Please affirm with me. In surrender, I open myself to spiritual understanding.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to blessing to the world. You're a blessing. You're a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
I invite you to join me in a time of meditation. You might want to place your feet flat on the floor and sit upright in your seat. Take anything that you're holding in your hands or your lap and set it aside for a minute. If you haven't already, allow your eyes to close and just take some deep, full breaths. You could roll your shoulders around a little bit and just feel your neck and shoulders relaxing. Allow your belly to relax so that every breath feels as if it goes all the way down to the tips of your toes. Just really take this opportunity to relax and to breathe deeply. Sometimes throughout our day, we may find that we're breathing shallow or even holding our breath if we're anxious or in a hurry. So this is a safe place. And it's a little gift that we're giving to ourselves and to each other. The gift of slowing down and being still. There's not one thing that we have to do right now except be present in this room. It feels so good to just let go for a minute and feel the presence of love. For we know that God is omnipresence. A loving, eternal, and never-ending presence. And wherever we are, we can pause and be still and know the presence of love. The presence of comfort, the presence of rejuvenation and relaxation. I am so grateful to be here with you and to be in prayer. I just want to come in and have a little visit with you and know the Spirit of truth together. And let's not get too far into the metaphysics of this thing right now. And just allow ourselves to experience the divine in whatever way works for each of us right now in this moment. God may show itself to you as a group of angels that are ministering to you in this moment. Healing you and blessing you. The awareness of spirit may reveal itself to you as an animal totem or spirit helper. Maybe a hawk lands on your shoulder. Or a rabbit comes to rest by your feet. We recall the words to the Beatles song, "When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me." So perhaps the divine feminine spirit is here to comfort you and to encourage you this morning. Perhaps you're feeling the presence of a great spirit that inhabits every leaf and rock and has a lesson hidden for you in nature. And maybe a still, small voice is calling you, calling your name, calling you. Come within, turn within. Receive a deeper understanding of my presence, my power. We let every sound take us deeper into an awareness of spirit. Everything is an expression of God. All things arise from it and return back to it. But yet there is one that remains, and that one is here now within you and all around you, calling you home. Rest, beloved. Rest in the stillness. Be still and know that I am.
What was yesterday may not be today. Spirit expressing in a different way, and everything changes. People come and go. Didn't see that in the car. On with the show. You can cry out your tears. You can laugh out your fears. You can hold on tight and you'll know. Let go. Everything in the universe is moving ahead. Sometimes I feel so lost. Sometimes I feel led. Sometimes it seems so slow. When it comes too fast. Once again, it's time to grow. Once again, at last, you can cry out your tears. You can laugh out your fears. You can hold on tight and you'll know. Let go. Let go. this too shall pass. And I will cry out my tears, I will laugh out my fears, I will hold on tight and I'll know. Let go. Let go. You can cry out your tears, you can laugh out your fears, you can hold on tight and you'll know. Let go. Let go. Let go.
Kyle Shiver, let go.
How do you let go? You hang on.
Available in your nearest New Thought bookstore. Take him home with you. Welcome to your adventure of surrender. Quit. Welcome to your adventure of surrender. Adventure of surrender. Adventure. I looked it up in the dictionary this morning. Merriam-Webster, right after I received word from headquarters to use notes. Spirit said, I need you on point this morning. Write this down. I said, okay, I'm listening. So I looked up the word adventure, and the definition is an exciting or remarkable experience. Doesn't that sound fun? An exciting or remarkable experience. It's like, yes, I'm going to the beach. Hey, I'm going to ride the roller coaster. I'm going to the Grand Canyon, right? But also another definition of adventure is an undertaking that usually involves danger and unknown risks. Danger, Will Robinson. There could be a risk. I could be in trouble here. And that's what it feels like for me to surrender, because it feels very vulnerable and very uncomfortable. And, oh, well, what about this? Or, oh, what about that? Have you ever tried to make a decision and you sat around and you thought about every possible outcome that could ever happen, so you want to be prepared just in case the worst happens, because you know it's going to be bad, right? Oh, my goodness. No, am I the only one? Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I will sit down sometimes when I'm trying to make up my mind, and I just get paralyzed because I'm trying to think of all the possible outcomes and to plan for that. So for me, surrender, one of the aspects of surrender is just being willing to be open to God is good, what? And all the time, right here in this moment, and no matter what happens, that God's presence is going to be there. The ground of all being, like a safety net, no matter what happens. In fact, it's during some of the most difficult times in my life that I've had some of the most profound experiences of the vine. Anyone else? Yeah. Who knows Scott Peck, who wrote the book, The Road Less Traveled, which is probably like 30 years old now or something. I'm telling my age there, maybe 40. And he says that in his book, the truth is that our finest moments are most likely to occur when we're feeling deeply uncomfortable, unhappy, or unfulfilled. For it's only in such moments, propelled by our discomfort, that we are likely to step out of our ruts and start searching for different ways for our truer answers. Yeah, why do anything if everything is okay? Like, who wants to do this hard spiritual work? You know, everything's going along fine. This is good, God. I'll just stay with this. But it's when the cosmic 2x4 hits that I'm like, whoa, okay, I guess I need to get to work here. I guess I need to do what Rumi calls polishing the mirror of the heart. How many knows Rumi? Rumi. His full name is Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi. Close. He was a Persian poet, a mystic, and a Sufi master who was born over 800 years ago. Yet in the last decade, he has probably sold, well, not he, but there's been more of his poetry sold in the United States than anybody else. Like, he's the United States' most popular poet, believe it or not. The 800-year-old guy. That's pretty good longevity there for his writings. And he says that your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. But don't we want to reach out there for it? It's like, if I could just get that perfect partner. You know who I'm talking about. The one. Ooh. The one that just makes you want to go, ooh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I just want to talk to you all the time. I just want to be around you all the time because I know you're going to give me everything that I think I need, right? That's the Hollywood version, the rom-com, right? And then something happens, and you're like, oh, no, I never felt this bad before in my whole life. This is awful. What am I going to do? Hello? Right? Woo. Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, yes, but when we're continually looking out here for something to make us feel better about ourselves, we're always going to be let down. Yeah. So Rumi says our job is not to try to get love out here, but to polish our heart, to do the work, to remove the veils of resistance. Isn't it interesting that one of the most basic human needs and desires is to be seen? But yet, it's the one thing that we're the most afraid of doing. Like, because then we're vulnerable. Then we have to be authentic. We have to put ourselves out there. And what if someone doesn't like me? Right? What if that one doesn't like me? There's a love coach. His name is Greg Bear. He's been around a while. He says when you go out with someone for the first time, put your stinky foot forward. Then there's no surprises, right? Because you want to be on your best behavior when you're going out on a date with somebody that you just met, and you want to look good, and you want to look nice. You want to impress this person because they might be the what? The one, right? You don't want to mess this up. So, man, you're doing everything you think that you should do to impress them and get them to like you, and then you get in a relationship, and you're together for about 6 months, and suddenly you're like, who is this person? Like, you're not the person I went out with 6 months ago. What happened, right? Because we're scared of being vulnerable, of opening ourselves up, and oh, well, you know, what if they know that I pick my teeth in bed or something? You know, I like to eat crackers on the couch, whatever it is. So at the same time that we want this more than anything, it's one of the things that we're most afraid to do. And so our job is just to continually lean in to the uncomfortable places. And it's not in our nature to do that. So sometimes we get little nudges like the mama bird pushing the baby out of the nest. Okay, it's time to try those wings out right here. Let me make things a little uncomfortable for you for a minute, so you'll grow, so you'll step out, so you'll lean in. What a wonderful spiritual practice to be able to just be in whatever is happening in the moment and not try to get away from it or fix it. Because most of my suffering comes when I'm saying it should not be like this. I'm throwing my little temper tantrum and saying, no, this isn't fair, it isn't right, and it ought to be different. But can I be in the midst of every experience, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, and lean into it and say, what's it like to feel anxious? What's it like to feel afraid? What's it like to feel vulnerable? And just be in that. This is how we do our surrender work. We're just surrendering to what is. And you know, it sounds really easy. Sometimes we say, oh, just let go and let God. You know, it's all in divine order. Don't we like to whip that one out in unity? It's the same thing as saying, oh, it's God's will. You know, when I was a little boy, I used to ask my mom, questions. Well, it's just God's will. Well, I don't understand. Well, you will one day after you die and go to heaven, right? So just shut up and do what I say right now, or you're going to be in trouble with God, right? So we like to say, oh, it's all in divine order. But you know, divine order, if you read today's daily word, the one that we read earlier was yesterday's daily word, surrender. The one for today is divine order. And it talks about how the seasons change, and sometimes it's cold, and sometimes it's warm. And what a stupid thing to do, to go outside and go, it should not be cold. It's like trying to work against the power that created the universe. That's what it is. That's what we're doing, you know. But all things, you know, work together for good, for those that love God, for those that cooperate with God, for those that align with this process of divine order. So surrendering to the flow. Just let it unfold. One of my friends told me when he was first in New Thought, he would get impatient. And one of the elder women of the church used to say, let it unfold, dearie. Just let it unfold. Just let it unfold. You can't push the river, right? And Abraham says that nothing you want is upstream anyway. So why are you paddling so hard? Just let go and let the flow carry you where you need to go. But don't worry about getting there, right? We were talking about this in the prayer chapel meeting yesterday about, you know, if you climb up the mountain on the rough side and you fall, there's always going to be a little place that you got over that you're going to stop and rest on, right? But if it's real easy and you're just going up the smooth side of the mountain and you fall, you're going to go all the way down. But can you be on the ledge and be okay with it and not think about what's up there, the enlightenment or whatever it is that's at the top, you know? It's like we feel like that we have to get something in order to be enlightened. That's the way we say saved in New Thought. If you go to a Christian church, you know, well, you need to be saved. And then something's going to happen, and you're going to feel better about yourself in life, and you're going to be one with God. Well, I tried that. It didn't work for me. I don't know about y'all. And the same thing with enlightenment. You know, once I get enlightenment, then I'm going to be blissful and happy all the time. No, you're not. Because life has its ups and downs. It's mountains and it's valleys. And can I be okay wherever I am? Can I be in joy? You know, one of my early New Thought teachers talked about how she had hip surgery. And I said, how are you doing? She said, well, I've been in pain, but I haven't suffered. I've been in pain, but I haven't suffered. And I understand now it's because she wasn't resisting the pain. She wasn't saying it should be different, that God's not in this. I need to fix it. She was just being in that experience of what it's like to have your hip replaced. Anybody that's ever been that's a parent knows about surrender. Oh, wow. Some of y'all know I have a son who's almost 30. His name is Jason. And up till he was about 6 years old, the only person that was allowed to take care of him besides me was my mom and the lady that lived across the street. And the only reason that she got to look after him is because she had a little boy named Christian, and they were best friends. They were so cute. I know everybody says this about their kids, but they were adorable. Jason was this little dark-haired boy with dark eyes and dark skin, and Christian was this little blonde-headed, blue-eyed boy, and they were like this all the time, everywhere they go. They set Lisa's backyard on fire one time. They were doing an experiment. You know, they were always getting into something or another. So I would let Jason go over there, but nobody else, got to look after him. I wasn't going to leave my little precious baby with just anybody. And I remember the first day he went to school. Oh, my God. Where we lived in the subdivision, it was kind of on a hill. So Lisa's house is over here, and then there's the road through the subdivision, and then our front yard went like that to our house. So Jason is on the edge of the driveway, and when the bus pulls up, there was this much height between the first step of the bus and where he was standing, and he just climbed right up it on his hands and knees. Got on the bus and didn't even wave. He didn't even look back. I thought I was going to die. Oh, my God. What's going to happen, And I can just imagine how some people feel nowadays, when you don't even know what's going to happen when your kid goes off to school. So talk about surrender, this huge, huge practice of being in that place. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have boundaries. We shouldn't do things to keep each other safe. Absolutely, we should. And can we be present in the midst of that and not say, this isn't fair. It should be different. I don't like this. It's like a little spoiled brat telling God, should change it just for me. Change the whole world just for me. So I remember our revival program that we had a couple of weeks ago. There wasn't as many people here as I thought there should be. I remember Stephen, his crew had made this big spaghetti dinner, and when it was time for everyone to be here at 5:30, he came over and said, well, there's no one here. So immediately my brain went into oh no, it should be different. This shouldn't be the way it's happening. We made all this food and people are supposed to come and eat it. And we're supposed to have a house full of people and blah, 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 blah. And if you were here at the revival for the Saturday night program, there was just a few people here. And I remember thinking to myself, you can fight against what is, or you can let go of the oars and go with the flow. I didn't even put my cowboy clothes on. I just kept on the old ragged clothes I've been wearing all day long. And I started talking about and thinking about the first New Thought church I ever went to, where we had 20 people every Sunday, and we knew everybody in the church. And it was a precious time for me. And I'm still friends with a lot of those people today. We had some very intimate relationships. And so we had this intimate, loving, kind of quiet experience together at the revival. And someone came up to me afterwards and said, thank you for letting this be chill. I really needed that. I feel so relaxed now. And I went, wow, what would have happened if I had just kept on with my, it has to be different and it shouldn't be this way? I'd have ruined the whole evening, you know? Yeah. It just felt really good to be able to just go with the flow and let things be. Well, how do we do that? You know, it sounds, I said earlier, just let go, let God, it's easy. Well, I find contemplation to be very helpful in surrendering. Now, this is a little different from meditation. I know y'all are saying, here he goes, talking about meditation again, like that's going to fix everything, Reverend Dale, right? But remember, we talked about last week about how anything that takes us into the present moment is a meditation, yeah? Okay, so contemplation is a little bit different. It's where we take a concept or an idea and we sit with it, we work with it, we walk around with it, we journal about it. We just stay still and just allow these ideas to come forth from us. And some of y'all might be saying, I don't have time for meditation. I don't have time for contemplation. I'm too busy to do all that. Well, then you're the one that needs to do it the most. I'm the one that needs to do it the most when I'm saying, I don't have time for this. I need to get up off the couch right now and go do something. So contemplation, here's 4 questions that you can work with. 4 different questions that you can take into your contemplation time. And the first one is, who am I? We call it self-inquiry in the Eastern tradition. I would even say, what am I? You know, we teach here that we are all what we call the Christ. Just because Jesus is our way shower, the Bible is our main text, we honor all paths to God. So when I say Christ, you might call it your Buddha nature or something like that. Or you might call it, you know, the Great Spirit that is within you, that's within your heart and mind. Whatever it is to you, we just call it the Christ. So I would say, what am I? Well, do I really believe that I'm the Christ? Like, what does that mean, really, to me? Like, to you? Not what I say it means, but what does it mean to you? Like, what does it mean that you're a living expression of the eternal God? Do you really believe that that's true? I mean, what am I? Am I this, what my friend Harold used to call this leather sack of bones? Or am I something more than that? Am I the thoughts that I think in my head? Am I the feelings that come up? Well, I don't know, because those come and go. But what is the thing that's left? Is that me? Could that really be true? So to me, this is true inquiry and contemplation. It's not just saying an affirmation because it sounds good. Maybe I don't even believe it, right? But it's really asking myself. It's really getting in touch with that spirit. It's surrendering the old ideas that I have about myself. What am I really? And the second question, what do I want from life? I mean, what do I really want? I think it's interesting that Jesus died at 33 and then he was resurrected. This is what the story tells us. So he was transformed at the age of 33. So he died, his physical body was gone, but then his disciples see this light body, this transformed, renewed Christ presence showing up and talking to him and teaching him things. And if you think about it, I don't know how it is for younger people these days. I know that folks seem to be waking up earlier than my bunch did, because we're all, you know. Some of y'all laugh because you were there with me, right? I read this article the other day about this little girl that was being bullied at school, and everybody was calling her weird and thinking she was weird. and she has an IQ higher than Einstein's, right? You know, back in the day, back in like the 90s and stuff, we were talking about indigo children. A lot of times, kids that just seem to be, surely they must be reincarnated because they're coming back with all kind of stuff. Like little 5-year-old kids that are like whizzes playing the piano and the drums and stuff. You know, the internet's full of that. But, you know, I almost said, okay, boomer, and I stopped myself just in time. So, thank you. So in my generation, when we grew up, it was like, well, you go to college, you graduate, you get a good job, you find a partner, you buy a house, you get a nice car, you got the picket fence, you get your 2.5 children and your cat and your dog, and then, hey, you're good, right? And so think about Jesus lived to be 33 years old. It's around the early 30s when some of us start going, is this all there is? Like, what do I really want from life? Like, I have all the stuff that they told me was the American dream and like what you're supposed to get, and this is what you work for, you know. My dad told me, you can't be a musician, you have to have something to fall back on, you're going to engineering school and buy some land. It's his advice on how to have a good life, right? But then we get there, and we get it, some of us, and we're like, okay, is this it? What else is there? You know, so think about, what do you really want from life? What does that new car give you, really? And insurance. Oh, Lord, here we go. What does that partner give you? What does that spouse give you that you don't? Headaches that you don't already have. It's not really it's still that outside thing. So what is it that you really want from life? When I think about money, a lot of times I think it's not really the money I want, it's the freedom I want to be able to go and do the things that I want to do. But if I'm everything that God is, expressing as me, and God is unlimited and free, then that means I am too. That freedom is within me. So how can I let it out? How can I surrender to that? How can I polish my heart so that freedom is released in the world? So what do I really want from life? And the second is like unto it, the third. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? Right? When you go into the 12-step groups, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous says that your main purpose, your real purpose, your true purpose is to be of maximum service to God and those around you. Like the whole point of getting sober is so you can help somebody else get sober. And if you look at the word surrender, S-U-R means over. It comes from old French words. And the render part is R-E-N-D-R, which means to give back, to return, to give back, to return. So we have been given the gift of life, and what we do with our life is what we give back to God. So we surrender, we give back, we give over, we give to. And the fourth question, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? Am I even grateful to be alive? Am I grateful that I woke up this morning and my heart is still beating and I'm still drawing breath? How does that happen? I don't have to think about it. I don't have to try. I don't even really have to surrender to it. It helps if I take care of it, if I cooperate in that way. But I can sleep all night and my heart is still beating and I'm still breathing when I get up in the morning. At least so far, every day has been like that. Thank you very much. I invite you, if you don't have any place to go on Thanksgiving, Or if there's somewhere that you'd rather not go, you're welcome to come here and celebrate with us. Every year we have a Thanksgiving dinner. We're going to have a meditation at noon on Thanksgiving Day, and then we'll have a meal from 1 to 3. Unity's providing the turkeys, and everyone that comes is asked to bring a dish. It's a wonderful way to get to know people. If you don't have anywhere to go, you're very welcome. If you know somebody that doesn't have anywhere to go, you can bring them here. We don't even care if they've never been here before and they never come again. It's just about getting together and having a meal, and at the end of it, we always talk about what we're grateful for. And it's one of my favorite things that we do, because when we get through, not only am I feeling physically nourished, but I'm feeling spiritually nourished, spiritually uplifted as well. So what am I grateful for? So here's 4 questions that you can take into contemplation that will help you to practice surrender, surrendering your old ideas, your old thoughts about the way things have to be. Who am I? What do I really want from life? What is my purpose? And what am I grateful for? I'm so grateful for the class that we're all taking together on Thursday nights. What is truth? Because we've been spending some time discovering these divine ideas that want to be expressed in the world. And it really helped me get clear on why I'm here. I get so much out of teaching classes. Sometimes I just feel like I'm getting more than anybody, and I'm so grateful that people come so I get to be in that experience, because I delight in the experience of divine omnipresence. I delight in the experience of divine omnipresence. I delight in facilitating the experience of divine presence. And when I say that, when I think that, when I write that, I live that. My heart sings. I want you to feel that way too. Like, I want to help give that back. So wouldn't it be so awesome, think about it, if everybody even in our city of Savannah was that clear? I mean, think about how the day would be, how we would interact with each other, how we would treat each other. The spiritual practice of surrender takes effort. It's not easy to let go and let God, but yet when we do, we're not giving up. We discover a power and a strength within us that we never knew that we had. See, there's a difference between giving up and surrendering, because surrendering takes work, and it takes effort, and it takes being willing to stand in the fire and not be burned. So don't ever give up. Like they say in the 12-step rooms, don't give up before your miracle happens. I would say, don't give up before your eyes open. Don't give up before your heart opens. Don't give up before your mirror is a little more reflective and shiny. Don't give up before your mind clears and you go, oh, that's what they've been talking about down there. So I want to close with another quote from Rumi, from Jalaluddin Rumi. Your grief for what you lost lifts a mirror up to show you where you're bravely working. Expecting the worst, you look, and instead there's the joyful face that you've been wanting to see. Your hand opens and closes and opens and closes. If it was always a fist, or if it was always stretched open, you would be paralyzed. There wouldn't be any movement. Your deepest presence is in every little contracting and expanding. And the two are beautifully balanced and coordinated as birds' wings. So I wish you many blessings, and may you find joy and delight on your adventure of surrender. Kyle Shiver, y'all, in the Spirit I Am band. Nate and Rochelle and Miss Bussy. So we have 5 basic principles that we teach and practice, and we like to review them every Sunday. So if you would affirm with me together, there is only one power, one presence in our lives and in the universe, God. Our second principle, we are the Christ of God in expression. Our third principle we call the law of mind action. It is thoughts plus feelings equals outcome. Our fourth principle, there is power in affirmative prayer and meditation. And number 5, we must live the truth we know. If you feel that you've been blessed by our community, this is your opportunity to give back. If you brought a gift, a tithe, a love offering, I invite you to prepare it now. Just when you're ready, take it in your hand and hold it and just infuse it with some of that good energy that we've been feeling here this morning. Know that we're saying hello to everybody that's watching on the internet this morning. You would be amazed at the stories I hear from people who say, oh, I was in Colorado and I was watching your service with my family, or I listened to it in the car. So we're so grateful for the equipment that we have to be able to share our services all over the world. You can give on our website, unitysavannah.org, and we also have a texting service. And I almost went broke when I first started using this. It was so much fun. I was just texting the church money all the time. It's like, whoa, slow down. Okay. So, take a breath and pause and just think about something that you feel grateful for. Or maybe somebody in your life that you appreciate. And let's just hold this idea, this feeling of goodness and gratitude and love and plenty and abundance as our ushers make their way through the sanctuary. We are grateful.
I am grateful, so thankful in this moment right now. I am thankful, so grateful right here, right now. I am thankful, so grateful in this moment right now. I am thankful, so grateful right here, right now.
And just remember that your presence is the greatest gift that you can give. So tell someone, thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here this morning.
Right now.
I am grateful.
I am grateful, so thankful right here.
I invite you to stretch out, to lean back, and just give yourself to the Holy Spirit.
So thankful
Mm.
in this moment right now. I am thankful, so grateful right here, right now.
So we bless the gift and the giver. We bless the lover and the beloved, for we know that all are one. We are grateful to be together this morning and to know our oneness and to know that we have enough to spare and to share, that God's goodness overflows in our lives. We are so grateful. We are so grateful. Let us affirm our prosperity affirmation together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful.
So faithful in this moment right now. I am thankful, so grateful right here, right now.
Let's welcome our children.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, well, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine.
All right, so they just keep coming. This is awesome. Yay, give them a hand. Come on now. Yeah. So we have a special blessing for our children together. God loves you and accepts you just the way you are. And I love you and accept you just the way you are. I see the Christ in you. And now we receive their blessing.
God loves you and accepts you just the way you are. And I love you and accept you just the way you are. I see the Christ in you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So as our program grows, we're also having more opportunities for the adults to serve in our youth enrichment program. So if you'd like to know more about what goes on in the kids section on Sunday, we're having a meeting right after the service. So all you got to do is stay in here, move up front, and Miss Iris is going to talk with us about how we can help serve our youth. And I also just want to mention again our Thanksgiving Day dinner. Everyone is welcome. And also, if you have volunteered in any way at all, like if you just stood at the door one Sunday in the past year and hugged people, you are invited to a volunteer appreciation party at Judy and Sanford's house on Saturday night. So Jen and Danielle have all the details. So just know that everyone that is volunteered in any capacity is very welcome to join us for a Thanksgiving feast. And we're going to be decorating the church for Christmas on the first Sunday in December. So we'll have some treats and we'll get together and we'll make it look all nice and Christmassy. So let's stand now and join in our closing song.
Let
light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well. And that's the truth.